If you're after CarPlay for your Falcon but you don't want to change your screen out, you want decent maps, you want decent phone support, internet radio, and you want to watch videos, look no further.
G'day, it's the old mate non-Rasputin, and we're back in the FGX Falcon. One of the biggest changes from the earlier FG1 and FG2 Falcons is the SYNC entertainment center. So this is actually in a lot of other cars around the world, Mustangs, Rangers, things like that. And so it's like, 2015, 2016 technology, and it's pretty good. It's okay, but does have a few actual sort of drawbacks. One of them is that it is a bit laggy. So it takes a while to actually sort of do stuff. So you can obviously get a stereo that does fit in that slot, but unfortunately, if you did that, air conditioning and climate controls and things like that wouldn't display on it, and so you'd kind of be a bit blind. And so this really kind of locks you into either an expensive upgrade, like changing this up to SYNC2, which is well over maybe $1,500, that sort of thing, or basically just sticking with what you've got. So the biggest drawback to the factory screen is that it doesn't support CarPlay. In my Hilux I actually have one of these units, and there is one available which will actually work with SYNC2, and that is from carABC. And today I'll just be going through that install and just showing you how it works and how easy it is to install. Okay, so let's get started.
Take the upper shroud off by pulling it up on the corner. Remove these bolts. Remove the lower tray by just pulling it out. Take these two bolts off. Remove the electrical connections from the top. This one's pretty tricky. Reach from underneath and remove the electrical connections from the bottom. Once disconnected, you should be able to pull the ICC unit completely out.
Now that it's removed, just showing you the plugs that you have to get to. You've got this one here, which is on the right side. You've got these two guys here, and then you've got this guy here on the left.
Alright, so what comes in the box? So this first harness here, we basically unplug this connector here and the one right next to it. We plug this into its place and then plug the other end of that into the harness on the car, so we're effectively tapping that in. Also in the box is the module itself, so this is effectively the brains of the unit. This is a harness for extra cameras, auxiliary inputs, USB, hands-free microphone. This harness here goes from the module to the inside the main screen that we're about to disassemble. Inside this anti-static bag is a small PCB or a daughterboard, and essentially this is going to be installed inside the display once we take it apart. Also included are longer screws and the extra couple of ribbon cables. Also included in the box is a user manual with all of the installation instructions showing you how to do it step by step. Remove this screw here and this screw here. Remove this screw here, and then on the other side this screw here. Remove this connector and then this one right next to it. You should now be able to remove the screen completely. Remove the 4 Torx screws. Once they're out, you can remove the rear section. Remove the large Torx screw here, 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 and here. Remove the 4 small screws. So what we're going to be doing is taking this board here and installing it on top of the existing board that's inside the SYNC unit. To do that, we need to first remove the 2 ribbon cables. To remove the smaller ribbon cable, basically you've got these 2 clips there, and then once you clip them up using your fingernails, you should be able to pull the ribbon cable straight out. So by using your fingernails, you just clip this ribbon cable connector up, and then the ribbon cable itself should just come right out. Unscrew the existing display board. Secure the secondary daughterboard in place with the longest screw supplied. Use the supplied ribbon cable to go from the existing board to the daughterboard. Clip it in place. Install a smaller ribbon pin side up. This interface cable plugs directly into the daughterboard. Now plug the ribbons from the display into the daughterboard. Don't forget silver pins up when installing this one. So before we put it all back together, we need to make sure that we can route this auxiliary cable out of the case. And so what we do is we're just going to take a little slither of a cut along this case here. So you basically get the cable and you route it along the bottom of the case, keeping it out of the way, and we'll run it up to this far corner here where it's going to exit. Just a little bit of tape just to guard it around those sharp edges. Next we reassemble. Plug the harness from the kit into the back of the display. Now we plug the ICC loom into the back of the harness. Just with this wiring here, so you just kind of just push it up towards the back of the unit to secure them in place. We don't want them to sort of foul on the vents or anything like that. And these cables here, we're just going to run them down the side. Super important, we need to make sure that we get these dip switches in the right position before we put the module in place. Because we want to use the factory reverse camera, we want to click 1, and according to the manual we click 4, 7 and 8. We put double-sided tape on the rear of the module to hold it in place, and then we put a second layer to promote airflow to keep it cool. Pop it in the space between the air ducts and the ICC, and then press it down till it sticks. Plug this guy in. This harness here we're going to install into the car before we put the ICC back in. Don't forget to connect it into the auxiliary, the black plug near the module. Right, so I've just put like a small cable tie over here just to sort of hold these cables together, and we don't want it to sort of these cables to come up during installation and foul on this seal here for the vents. Now we're pretty much ready to pop this back into the car. The ICC is now sort of in one compact unit with the carABC unit there as well, just ready for the next stage. Route the cables on the outside of the air duct down into the cavity where the module is. So before we put the ICC back in place, it's probably a good time to run this the line for this microphone. So what I typically do is pop it up here on the side panel. So to do that we have to remove the this covering here and then run the wiring down through the dash and out to this point right here. So plug the microphone into this port here, then get some insulation tape and wrap it up just in case, just to keep it together. Okay, so now we've got our auxiliary room tucked nice and tidily behind here, and we've got our USB line down below. We're ready to go. Pop the ICC back in place, just making sure you don't snag any wiring or anything like that on the way in. Leave enough room to get your hand up the back and basically plug all those plugs back in before pushing it fully home. Once the ICC is fully powered up, hold down the voice control button for a few seconds, and then you get the option to choose CarPlay. Next step is to pair the module with your phone. So go to Bluetooth settings in your phone and you will see an option carABC or something along those lines. Hit it and you'll get a pairing request. Once you've accepted the pairing request, the module will then synchronize with your phone. To use CarPlay, hold down the voice command button and it will switch over. To switch from CarPlay back to sync, hold down the button and it will go back. In order for audio to flow from your module, first you need to select line in or the auxiliary port. Using the factory screen to navigate is seamless and effortless, whether you're making calls, accessing maps, or even just listening to internet radio. To access other smartphone projection systems or to watch a movie, hit the car home button. To watch a movie, select USB. Plug in your USB stick, navigate to the folder with your movies, and then select the one you want to watch. Awesome, this is my favorite one. So that's the overview of how to install and use the module in your Ford Falcon in place of SYNC2. Now, is it good value for money? I would say yes, it is. It works as if it's native. It's far cheaper than installing Ford SYNC3. Now, installation is fairly easy if you just go slowly, follow the video or follow the instructions that are supplied with the module. It makes it a lot easier. Just take your time and don't try not to break anything on the way. At the end of it, you've got a really user-friendly interface that will really stand the test of time in your Ford vehicle. If you are interested in purchasing a module like this, feel free to follow the link below and you get an automatic discount. Thanks.